Let's talk for a minute. I've said many different things about striking in the gig economy, unionization, unions, all these things about independent contractor gig work and why I think we should not have it. I'm not saying my mind has changed, but I need to say a couple things. I've had people and we've had debates on this channel about why striking is stupid and wrong, and I've used a lot of strong language um, criticizing people that would stand and have a picket sign and do this and oh my God, give me more money, da 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 da. And I've even gone as far as to call those people weak. That was wrong. There's currently some current strikes going on right now, like they do every few months, because people are sick and tired of being sick and tired in the gig economy and being taken advantage of. They're done. While these companies continue to make more and more and more money, and we make less overall. I think a lot of you guys are probably still doing okay. You're doing all right. You're not impacted. You're never going to walk a picket line. You don't want unionization, whatever, and that's fine. But the same thing that's great about doing this kind of work, having that freedom, flexibility, being independent, work when you want, mostly, because some of us have to schedule depending on the apps you work. You can have that same ideology behind if you want to strike or not strike. And who am I to say and call somebody out because they want better pay? Because their experience has been different. Or maybe their moms or dads has been different. The people that come into this line of work are usually in poverty or lower middle class. Most people that do this aren't successful already in life. Let's just call it what it is. Some are, you might be, most are not. A lot of people that do this kind of work, whether it's rideshare, food delivery, shopping, English is their second language, and they're coming here for opportunity and to try to just have whatever is left of the American dream. And in doing that, some of those people get shit on, like by the companies, by the customers. So I just wanted to make this public. I'm realizing without doing DoorDash anymore and just trying other apps and seeing things and having conversations with other people, other drivers in my market, seeing news stories, seeing interviews, seeing other content creators talk about these things. I'm realizing a lot of people might look at me and my channel like I am for the gig apps. I stand by them versus standing by the drivers. And I get why some people would think that. Nothing wrong with that. But I think I might have been on the wrong side of it. I'm not saying we need to strike or unionize. I'm not saying we need that. But I realized that if you're really looking at it, it's like David and Goliath. We're ants trying to just get along. And I'm having a growing respect for the men and women that are actually going out there and having their voices heard. Now, do I think we'll really be able to spark a lot of change? No. But we could have incremental successes and wins in these little battles that we play. Who knows who's going to win the war? It's David and Goliath. These big companies are just actually, all they're doing is taking advantage of the system that we have set up in this country. And we as gig workers are on the bottom of the food chain. We have never been valued this low ever in the history of this kind of work of food delivery or rideshare. Our value to the consumer and the company is at an all-time low. Us drivers are fighting each other. We're fighting customers. I've done it. Not fight, but you get what I'm saying. Versus the company, versus taking it to the companies. So I have to say, I'm not going to be somebody that's going to be on the picket line necessarily. But I want to offer a public apology to the people that maybe I've rubbed the wrong way, or they look at me like I'm standing with Uber or DoorDash instead of standing with the drivers. I think I was wrong for some of the things I've said and how I've looked at it. I want to be on the right side of it. Now, while I still believe we have to bet on ourselves, set goals one day at a time, we can actually do more for ourselves than any one individual or group of people can help do things for us. There is power in numbers, though. And we are at the bottom. So what happens in this country and even other countries, when you look back at history, the people that are at the bottom, you can rise up, but you got to have the strength. The strength comes in the numbers. The voices have to be heard. So all the men and women that are continuing that fight for whatever reason, personal or related to somebody you might know, or a prior experience, or your current experience, or whatever it is, I respect you a lot. We might not agree on how we're going to go about it, but you're doing a lot of things that I haven't done. These companies, they're not all bad, but the way America is right now, and us being at the bottom, I see why people are upset. I see why they want some change. The best I can say, these companies are going to have to be forced through legislation or whatever else on a local level, state level, maybe even federal. I don't know. They're going to have to be forced in order to give you some kind of better pay and medical and this and that, or benefits, or they're going to have to be forced. They're not going to do it on their own in the way that you want. So we're going to continue to have to make the best decisions that we can, be very self-aware of our market and what we can do or not do in order to make money. These companies are going to continue to, Uber and Lyft continue to look at what the other one does and see what does best to keep them the most money in their pockets and the least in ours. And every once in a while, they'll throw us a bone. DoorDash and Uber Eats, same thing. Programs, tiers, gold, platinum, rubies, rhinestones, unicorns and rainbows, and lollipops and sunshines. They're going to say all these things to make you feel a certain way. It is gambling for many of us. I know a lot of people are sick of it. We do obviously still have free will. There's a lot of opportunities in America if you go out there and look and do research and talk and engage in your community of people around you. In your marketplace, what people are willing to pay for might be vastly different than mine in St. Louis. I feel like not much will be different in 2025, 2026 for most drivers. But it doesn't mean for the men and women that are out there trying to make a difference in whatever reason that they can, just to have a voice heard, just to feel like they're united in some way. There's something wrong with that. And before, I always thought like those people were silly and they looked weird and you're never going to spark change. I think some people have. Maybe some that have started things haven't been able to see it through fruition the whole way. But who am I to judge somebody else for feeling passionate about something when it comes to money and providing for their family? My experience in St. Louis is probably better than most people that do this work because of my marketplace, my situation, my support that I have. This channel helps tremendously with the decisions I can make or not make, monetarily speaking. Most 99.9% of the people that do this kind of work don't have my experience and a little bit of luck that's been there and the hustle that I provide. This gig economy is a strange place. It's going to continue to get bigger as companies look to gig workers to facilitate their business. And when they do that, they have less of an overhead labor-wise and benefit-wise and everything long-term wise. It's just how do we pay these guys a little bit as we can to keep that money for us? And a lot of people are going to continue to flood the gig economy, independent contractor work, because they need it as a side hustle, as most people do it, secondary, third, maybe even fourth type of income stream, because America is struggling through inflation and a lot of other reasons. But it's going to continue to grow, and the companies mostly will continue to get big. And most drivers will continue to lose. It is up to us to figure out how long we continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. But the gig economy is not going anywhere. But what place do we have in it? To the men and women that are striking, trying to get better pay, safer work conditions, I get it. I get it. I've been seeing and hearing things, and I'm having a better understanding of why they're doing that. Most people that do this work are not making real good profits and real money and cannot support their families alone on this. And those are the ones that are probably the full-timers are the ones that are the most vocal, probably striking the most. But even the part-timers are struggling because there's so many. I don't have the answers. I do not have the answers as to how we can achieve what we're trying to achieve, whether you're full-time, part-time. But I'm going to stop giving these companies as much grace as I've given them. I've been critical, and I'll continue to be critical of them. But I'll praise them if they do something good. But at the end of the day, we have the haves and the have-nots in this country. It's always kind of been like that. And most delivery drivers, we are the have-nots. Not all, but let's just be real and have an honest conversation about that. Most delivery drivers are not making good money. So maybe legislation and this and that and holding them accountable and trying to get the news networks to do whatever. Maybe that's the way. Maybe it's the 100th strike or the 108th strike or whatever, or the 10,000th news article that will get the right person's attention that could really, the spark can then become a flame, and it just goes crazy, and then boom, maybe we could have better opportunities. Other places have done it, and it's usually in a W-2 situation. This isn't that, and that's what I've always been critical of it. I'm not saying, I don't want unions and things like that. Don't get me wrong. My point is, it does take some people with some guts and willing to put themselves out there vocally and their image and their likeness. It takes those individuals to spark change. We've seen that with other lines of work, and it's helped. UPS strike helped a lot of drivers. Amazon's doing something right now. I get it. We have to fight these big companies because they can't afford to pay drivers more. The little guy gets crapped on because we're at the bottom. They can do better. They choose not to because they want to stay billionaires. It's as simple as that. So I don't know. This video that I made last year or the year before that about the strikes was way different. As you learn more about the world around you and people's experiences, and your mind can be shifted and changed. And I'm not against that. So to anybody that wants to strike or do whatever, you're not going to hear me say a negative word about you. I get it. I might not be in your same situation. I get it. I get it. Do what you feel you got to do. But don't expect them to do much. You might be out there for a while. You might have to do a million strike. And if that works for you, who am I to judge? I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I know this is different. I just want to put it out there. So I've watched a lot of things in the last couple of days, and I want to be on the right side of this. And I don't want to be on the side of these billionaires that don't care about us, these big companies. I don't. I'll continue to take personal responsibility and all that, but nah. These companies are crap. It is an opportunity, but they hide behind all of the crap. They hide behind it. I've always known it, but it's becoming a little more clear to me. That's all I got. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching this video. If you're new here, consider like, subscribe, comment, whatever. But I appreciate you guys supporting the channel still. And I just needed to get this message out there because I had it on my mind today. You guys have a fantastic Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow.